So we're in the space of network diagnostics. So we actually make software products that diagnose the network. Specifically, we started out with post-processing of drive test data. So if for basically RF optimization. So if the RF engineers collect data using mobile phones on the network, they can actually load those log files into our products, our software products, and it'll help them diagnose the problems with drop calls, quality of service issues, and try to find out the root cause. So that is how we started out. We've eventually migrated, or we've expanded our product line to not just restricted to drive tests, but actually towards the end-to-end diagnostics of the entire system, right from where you have your gateways and your switches all the way down to the cell phone. So we have actually expanded our product line, but still in the area of network diagnostics, performance management, and optimization of cell phone networks, basically. So a very simple solution, application would be like a drop call, right? So every customer, or every operator knows they have drop calls around the system, around the network, and then ways to diagnose a drop call. They can collect the data and they can replay it on the existing collection tools. But generally, to replay it, it's a laborious process. You have to replay it to the point where that call dropped and then try to figure out. And a lot of the figuring out is very much dependent on the quality of the engineer, because a good engineer will be able to look at more messaging. A poor engineer may actually need more time to actually figure out what the problem is. So one of the early things that we introduce in our products is, in addition to processing the data quickly, we actually provide automated analysis. So all they will look at is they will actually go to a particular drop call, on the map, click on that drop call, and immediately it gives them information: what happened before the drop call, what happened after the drop call, and what a possible root cause may be. And they can help them understand, is it a problem on the network side, on the wireless network side, or maybe it's the quality is perfect or very good, and it could be a problem on the wireline side, or the fixed network side. So it gives them that kind of analysis to get them to solve their problems quicker. So I think to quantify it, it's always an interesting it's an interesting question, to quantify it. First of all, I think that certain parts of it is a necessity, I think. So I mean, with the competitive space that you have right now, I think it's no longer good enough just to put a network out there, right? That just is able to support the calls, and you don't really care about drop calls, or don't care enough about it, because I think there used to be a time when many markets were fairly monopolized and people were fairly comfortable. I think that comfort level is gone probably in most of the world right now, right? Everywhere is competitive, and it's a big challenge to remain, to keep the churn down, keep your customers. And there's a large amount you can do with the data you get from the switch, but there's also a large amount you have to do in the field. I mean, if there's a specific drop call in a specific area, you have to go through certain types of analysis in order to actually establish those problems. So I think we see a play where we see the need for these tools as almost a necessity to keep up the system, keep up the quality, and it's actually almost a necessary investment, I think, that all operators will have to do. And especially when you talk about technology change and new technologies coming down the road, when a lot of discovery is happening in the field, again, it's like a necessary investment you would have to do to actually get the sense of the actual experience on the field. So that's what we've seen in the past. In terms of savings, I mean, we've also had some studies where the savings, not to say, I would rather rephrase the question, at least from my perspective, of how I've seen people justify it, is not to justify the need for the tool, because like I said, I don't think there would really be much discussion or argument of why you need the tool, but really how efficient am I, with the different tools I have, the choices I have in the industry, how efficient is this tool versus another tool in terms of how much time an engineer spends to actually solve the problem, right? So that is probably a more natural metric to quantify, which we have actually established several times with different customers, as you mentioned. So the timing is an interesting question as well. I mean, we actually before I answer the question, I'll just give you a little story about, of one of our customers who actually, before they purchased our product, said that they don't want any training, right? They were actually competitively looking at our product versus a competitive product. And they said, I don't want training from either of you. I want to just take the product in, right, and use it, right? Because this is going to be my typical engineer, right? My typical engineers, some of them may get the benefit of training, but most of them are just going to pick it up and use it. They'll never read the manual, right? Unless they really have to, and they're going to use it, right? And it come back to the ease of use. we wanted we got that contract because they were so much more comfortable and quick to actually use our product. They wouldn't have got 100%. They may have got like 60, 70% of the product, but that 60, 70% was more than enough for them to get up and running and actually start solving issues. And then they get the training for the remaining 30%. So to answer your question directly now, I mean, from a integration perspective, it has been remarkably good, in the sense that we've always arranged for trainings, with all our implementations, but generally, the feeling everybody has just picked it up, ran with it, and the training was more of an enhancement. So we've had great success stories on integration, actually. So.